Hello, everybody, and welcome to Manga Melee. As always, I am your host, Jay, and this week I am joined once again by my good friend Peter McGinn, and we're also joined by a new voice to the pod. We're joined by our friend Galaxy. Galaxy, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Excited to talk about manga.
And Peter, how are you?
Doing great. Always looking for an excuse to get outside of my anime box and talk some manga. So I'm glad I'm here.
Glad to have both of y'all, honestly. Sad to say that Parf could not make it this week. He is currently doing a midterm for law school, and I mean, honestly, I think a podcast about manga is a little bit more important than being a lawyer, in
Agreed.
my opinion. Like, just personally, but we've all got our own definite. No, I'm kidding. School comes first, so I told him go do his thing. The podcast will be waiting for him whenever he gets back. But in the meantime, I've got these two. So, what have you two been up to this week?
Ooh, I had a pretty chill week of work. Wrapped up my softball season, so now I'm in hibernation mode as it gets a little chilly over here in the Midwest. It was a brisk 54 today, so I got to bust out some sweaters. So I'm looking forward to wearing them.
Yeah, same. What about you, Galaxy? What have you been up to?
Just been watching the seasonals really.
Heard that some good stuff coming out so far, and we
Stacked.
haven't even hit the real, like, a couple of the big names like Mob has come out, but most of the really big names have yet to come. So I'm excited to see that. And there's some sleeper hits in there too that we'll definitely talk about. As for me, yeah, mostly been doing the same thing. You can't really see it in my background, but a lot of my stuff is actually in boxes right now. I'm preparing to move out of my apartment. So that should be fun.
Ooh,
Not
exciting.
really. Yeah. Uh, kinda. And then I've got family coming up in a couple of days, so I'm gonna be cooking a big pot of gumbo tonight in preparation for that.
Not
And
even kidding. I think I'd rather like break like my toe or finger than move. Like I can't.
y-
It's the worst.
I don't even have like a truck. I'm gonna have to rent like a U-Haul or something, and that's gonna suck too. And whatever, it's fine. At least I'm moving pretty close by,
That's good.
and that mitigates it a bit. But enough about the banality of life. Let's talk a little bit about some manga news. So first up, we got starting off with some goat stuff. We got a timer that has popped up on the Berserk Memorial Edition website. Any theories on that, Peter? As our
Yeah.
resident Berserk guy.
A resident berserk guy. Kind of joking that there's only two real answers for this. One is the continuation of the or like the continuation of the anime that they're airing now. So they took the Netflix movies and broke it up into episodic episodes that they're also gonna be adding some like additional content throughout there. So, but it stops at Golden Age. So maybe more Berserk content past that in the same similar form, or of course number two, which is more likely, is a Berserk themed maid cafe. Those are the only two options that I'm willing to accept. So that's what I'm
Love
thinking.
love lit live DLC.
Oh,
This is
the
nuts.
crossover. Ooh,
What do you think, Galaxy? You have any ideas on that? I don't know if you're into
Mm,
Berserk that much.
Haven't gone to Berserk yet. Hope for their fans that it's something good and not a maid cafe.
whoa.
Yeah,
The fans want the maid cafe.
true.
Not all the fans are going to Japan.
Some
True.
are.
I've seen a lot of people definitely saying the Memorial Edition being continued in like a seasonal sort of fashion is what they would probably want with I guess a slightly better look. I mean, those movies aren't terrible or anything. They're not as bad as the
Yeah.
2017 anime, whichever one
2016,
that is.
2017. Yep.
Yeah, that shit was a complete ass. But, they could always be better because Berserk is one of the most well drawn, just most artful manga of all time, and it deserves an adaptation on that level, or at least on par, you know?
Yeah, I like the movies a lot. Whether you're a fan of CG or not, like I get it, but they do a really good job at like just telling the Golden Age arc itself, and I think story wise it does a really good job. And so I usually recommend it to people if they're looking to get into Berserk the anime. even though I do think 97 is better, I do think the movies are pretty solid. So, if I get more Berserk content, even if it's like an 8 out of 10, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think I might check out the seasonal that's airing. Actually, it seems pretty solid, and not much pressure to catch it to watch it like
Yeah,
all at once if
or
it's
if you
coming out
want,
weekly.
if you got 4.5 hours and want to watch 3 movies, they're on Netflix. So you can knock it out pretty quick, and does the entire first arc of Berserk.
Hmm. Ah. Up next, we got a new anime has been announced for the Japanese superhero manga Shy. It's getting a series by Studio 8-Bit, who are the same people who did Reincarnate as a Slime and Tokyo Ravens. Shy is basically about a world where I think like a comet passes over and then superheroes become a thing, and the main character is the representative of Japan, and she is incredibly shy.
Saw the PV for it, looked pretty solid. I really like the character design for her like superhero outfit. I thought that was really cute and kind of like makes it like fits her personality. I felt like when I watched the PV, it looks like a pretty solid show. The manga has like a pretty average score, so maybe the anime can elevate some of like the action scenes and stuff to make it a pretty decent show. But it looks solid, and I'll definitely watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It seems like pretty standard fare overall is what I would say. Um Haven't really looked into the manga too much, but I might give it like a volume or two. Give those a read and just see how it is, because I'm a sucker for a lot of superhero stuff, so if it's a pretty good take on it, then it's easy to hook me in.
And I'm guessing this will probably get an English publication soon with the anime announced, is my guess. So sometime I'm gonna guess sometime when the anime is airing, we'll probably get the first volume.
Yeah, I would probably say about the same thing, honestly. Up next, Rakugo manga Akane Banashi, the best thing in Shonen Jump right now, in my personal opinion, by Takamasa Moe and Yuki Tsunaga, is getting 2 consecutive color pages in Weekly Shonen Jump issues 46 and 47 to celebrate its popularity. This stuff is selling like hotcakes for like a non like shonen battle shonen
Yep.
manga. Its volumes are constantly getting reprinted and then basically selling out pretty quick. I've been evangelizing it for a while. If you're not on this, you need to be on it. It checks so many boxes. It's got a great lead. It's a revenge story. It's basically a battle shonen. The characters essentially have like techniques that they employ with their Rakugo, and it's just really heartwarming and wholesome at points too, and talks a lot about subjects like found family, grief, a lot of subjects is what I'm trying to say here.
I think I
If
saw
you're not,
that it was at like 400,000 copies sold with only 3 volumes out. So pretty solid for like a new
yeah,
series without like an anime, I would say. That usually means like really good numbers. So glad it's getting the recognition it deserves. I'm only like 20 chapters in. I had a good time enjoying it. I'll pick it up eventually, but yeah, I'm really happy to see this.
yeah,
If the J factor tells me that something is good, I'm gonna have to pick it up soon for sure.
yeah. You need to get on it. Honestly, it's only like 26, 27 chapters in or something like that, so it's a pretty quick read too. Honestly, and I think that Shonen Jump is paying a lot of attention to Akane Banashi right now because they were really in a rut when it came to new series for a while. It was just constant battle, like supernatural battle shonen that ended up getting axed for better or for worse. Rest in peace to Phantom Seer. Uh, and this just kind of shows them that they don't need to. This and Blue Box really
Yeah.
shows them that they don't need to lean into that battle shonen, supernatural demographic or genre rather, in order to have success and make sales. And I hope that they realize that and start leaning more into like the kind of more grounded slice of life, even romance stuff.
I said before on the pod, and I'll say it again later in this episode, but Spy Family literally changed how Shonen and Shonen Jump are going to be doing their manga, at least in my opinion.
True. True, I completely neglected that. That was my fault because it's in Jump Plus, and I always forget about Jump Plus stuff.
No, I get what you're saying. When you say Shonen Jump, I think the magazine, like what's
Yeah.
in the actual physical magazine, and that's not where Spy Family is. So when your take, I actually might agree that it is the best thing in Shonen Jump right now.
Yeah. Spy Family is one that I definitely need to fully catch up on, but we can talk a little bit more about that when we get to the seasonal section.
Cool.
Let's see what else we got here. We got, and the last real bit of news we got, a lot of things are kind of holding off on news, or a lot of English sources are kind of holding off on news until Anime NYC and New York Comic Con are fully in swing / over for New York Comic Con. Kaguya-sama Love is War by Aka Akasaka has 4 chapters left until the end. It's going to get a color page this week in order to celebrate that. Galaxy, you're reading Kaguya-sama. Do you have any thoughts on where it's at the moment?
In the final stages for Kaguya right now, they're basically wrapping up and setting up like characters development and finishing it. I think it's going well so far, but nothing spectacular. It's just been Kaguya, which is a great show and manga.
Do you think that they're going to have to rush to wrap it up in 4 chapters, or does it kind of feel like they're just tying off all the
I
loose ends
haven't
more or less?
I haven't seen any rush. Like every character is getting shine, it seems, and it's been going well.
That's good to know, actually. Aka seems like they're very talented at like juggling multiple manga at a time since they're able to do this and Oshinoko and have both of them be incredibly solid basically throughout the entire thing.
And he's starting up his next one where he did that like
Contest.
that contest. Yeah, so he'll be writing the next story, and then somebody else will be drawing it. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be really interesting to see what he does next. Jay, we talked about it on an earlier podcast. Like, what is he gonna do? I think you mentioned something like political or like lawyer based, if I'm not mistaken. I think like the world is his oyster. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah. I would really love to see him kind of go in a different direction. Like not necessarily like keep the same like ability to write in the way that he's writing, but just go really out there with what he's doing and take his chops, like really test himself.
Agreed.
What about you, Galaxy? What do you like? What would you want to see next from Aka?
Uh, since I haven't read Oshinoko, I haven't seen like what else he can write about. I think just going off of
It's
Kaguya.
it's like a sort of idol model, like general in Japanese influencer being famous sort of deal, if that makes sense. It's about the pressures of being famous, but with also some interesting twist mixed in that I won't spoil for you because they're real. It's actually really cool. Whatever it happens. Pardon me.
I think he could, from what I've seen with Kaguya, he could do politics pretty well. He or it's they seem to have an understanding of the structure.
I think it is a guy.
It's a
I'm pretty
guy.
sure.
Yep.
I was just being just in case because I wasn't sure. Sorry. But yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. A political thriller sort of deal would be pretty sick. Maybe something like it'd be interesting to see like a Legends of the Galactic Heroes type like space
I was
opera from
just
him
thinking sci-fi or
actually.
something. I was like, dude in space. Like, fuck it. Why not? Like, have fun with
Yeah.
it.
Like it'd be so cool to see him get even weirder with it cuz Oshinoko I would say is very weird even compared to Kaguya.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. All right, and that's all we got for news. Up next, we got sales updates and our Oricon charts. So we got Mob Psycho 100 by 1 has 2.8 million copies in circulation for the whole series. Honestly, a lot less than I thought, probably because the art isn't like it's not like a One Punch Man style thing where they redid it all to be raw, like it's the base web comic adapted or whatever it was
It is
adapted
a
to
different
it.
artist than the webcomic, since one did the webcomic and it's
Oh,
pure
okay.
trash.
It's even So it is a slight upgrade, actually.
It is a slight upgrade. I mean, literally anything is an upgrade from the webcomic. But yeah, somebody else is doing the art for it. I think it is a combination of it's not One Punch Man art style. Also, the anime is just so good. I think more people just gravitate towards watching the anime, and it's not like ongoing compared to say One Punch Man, where so we're kind of like left in limbo. Well, until recently, since we got season 3 announced, but I think more people were picking that up when I think a lot of people knew that Mob was probably going to be finished because it's a lot shorter than One Punch Man. And
Is it?
I think
Is
it's a
this the
combination of
last
that.
season?
Yeah, I mean, it's not confirmed, but like based off the arcs, it's more than like they could do like a season in a movie maybe, but there's not much content left.
Hmm. Okay. I wasn't sure about that actually. I kind of dang. Well, I need to catch up then, just to see for
Yeah,
myself.
it's incredible. I mean, I have Mob tattooed on my arm for a reason.
Yeah.
There it is.
Up next, we got Sakamoto Days. It's got 2 million copies in circulation just ahead of its second anniversary, and the series is going to have a popularity poll coming up to celebrate that. Uh, this is where Lynn, if he was here, would have talked a little bit about Sakamoto Days with me. I've been catching up on it a bit, but I'm still not quite there yet. So I'll just save it for the next time Lynn's here. But Sakamoto Days is super dope,
Hope it
and
gets an anime.
it's got to get an anime. It surely has
Yeah,
to
it
at
has like
some
2
point.
million in sales. Like it's bound to get one.
I mean, it's yeah, and it's in Weekly Shonen Jump. It does very well for the most part.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. Up next we have Spy Family has reached 26.5 million copies in sales worldwide, including digital, which is pretty insane.
Peak Fiction, Fire, Goat, Raw. Oh my god, yeah, I love Spy Family. How how it's changing Shonen Jump is just beautiful to see. That if we get more adaptations of stories like this into major publications, I'm going to be reading even more manga in the future. I love Spy Family. I love where it's going, and yeah, the anime this season has just been mind-blowingly beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've been Uh, the addition of Best Boy Bond has added a pretty good dynamic already, and he hasn't even been fully introduced to the family, so I'm really excited to see that. Um, I don't know, man. I've been loving it quite a bit. I love how cozy they're making it, like even to the change in the theme song. Like I feel like I liked the music in the last theme song a lot more, but this one just fits the overall like feeling of it a
100%.
lot better,
The
especially
the
with like
mixed nuts. The first LP was more like getting you in the mood of like this spy action thriller, and
and
now
now we're
that
in the family
and
part.
yeah, now that the family's like established, it's more of like, hey, let's go to the amusement park. Hey, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's do this stuff. Let's go drive in the car. And it showcased that in the OP, and it's just oh my god, so good. I've been listening to it. It's probably my most listened to OP so far this season.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my most listened to so far this season. Huh. I guess I haven't really been listening to a lot of OPs. It's just been I really want to stay at your house,
Yeah, we're
honestly.
still in the cyberpunk era. Yep.
Although I did like the ending song for DIY, which we'll talk about shortly. Um, Up next we got Colette. I don't remember what the
Colette
full
wants to
name is.
die.
Is it Colette Wants to Die?
Yeah.
Yes, Colette Wants to Die. Colette Wants to Die has 3.4 million copies in circulation for the whole series, including digital. Still not licensed in English. I've heard so many good things about this. I need to pick it up badly. I really wish there was physicals because there's something about shojo in particular with how wordy it can be at times that it gets kind of annoying to read it on my phone screen. I'd just rather have it in my hands.
When I read QQ Sweeper, I was like, I wish I had this just reading this in my hand type of thing. I get the exact same feeling. Colette Wants to
Yeah.
Die. I read the premise of it. Seems really interesting. I think it has like a combination of being silly at times with like the realization of like somebody who wanted to kill herself, and kind of does kill herself. It's an interesting story of like somebody who is like fed up with work and kind of just wants to get rid of that lifestyle by just kind of ending herself, but then she like goes to a different world or something like that and kind of like finds the meaning of life. And it sounds like a really interesting read.
Yeah, definitely a super interesting premise. Honestly, it feels like there's just so many shoujo that have these great premises that people in the West just pass up on because they just can't get rid of these internal filters and demographic ideas they have in their mind. And you see it all the time.
Yeah, I'm. At least we are getting more. There was like the 7 Seas announcement today that we are getting like a new josei, like a historical josei that is it 7 Seas?
Is it Yen Press, maybe?
It's oh my god, I have it. A Steamship?
Steamship. Okay.
I'm just grabbing all my manga. No, it's 7 Seas. Sorry, it's seven
Okay.
Seas. It's yeah. It,
Yeah.
it has the thing with the boat on the side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so Seven Seas.
There we go.
Seven Seas, honestly, I'm glad that they stopped being like fuckers about the whole union thing because they've just been killing it
Yeah.
ever since then when it comes to the licensing stuff and putting out really high quality manga as well. Like their omnibus. I would almost never buy a Viz omnibus because they're so poor quality. They just get super bent. The spines wrinkle, in my opinion, if you read them too hard. And the Seven Seas omnibus, they're just super strong.
Yeah, I'm like looking at. I never really like noticed that until you said that, and now I'm like looking at it. I'm like, yeah, like my dark, like I have Viz behind me with 20th Century Boys and Vagabond, and then I have Berserk right next to it, and it's like, yeah, this omnibus is way cooler than Viz. And then same thing with 7 Seas. Their hardcover ones are ooh, chef's kiss, baby. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
great to see. At least it's getting more recognition, and the sales are going. We'll talk about that in a minute, but the sales are reflecting this kind of shift in more josei and shoujo getting publicized, especially in the West.
You really love to see that. Up next, we got Witch Hat Atelier with by Komome Shirahama has 4.5 million copies in circulation, including digital worldwide. I have a singular volume of this
My
too.
baby.
Unfortunately, it's not the first one. This it's just so dope. This is another one that me and Pete have been talking big about for a while. I really want to pick up the cooking spinoff that they have
It has like
too.
5 volumes. I didn't
I
realize
know.
that. I thought it was just like a one-off thing, and they're like, "Yeah, volume 5 of the cooking book is coming out." I'm like, "Volume 5? What?"
Give me more cooking spinoffs of anime. Just wholesome, like you know how they have that like Fate
The Fate one,
spinoff that's
yeah.
like breakfast at the
The
Shiro at the
Yep,
Imiyas. Yeah. Give me that.
yeah.
Like give me that sort of stuff. Give me a Tokyo Revenger spinoff where they're just taking Mikey to nice restaurants or something like that instead of, beating each other with lead
Yeah.
pipes or whatever.
I called it with Spy Family. You can go back on tapes. I called that it was going to be huge. The two that I think are going to be massive going forward are Witch Hat Atelier and Frieren. Those two are going
Yeah.
to be massive once the animes drop. And they're
Yeah.
both confirmed for animes, so can't wait.
I think Frieren especially. It has like the titular character that everybody is going to like fall in love with.
See, I'm the opposite because I think a lot of people love Harry Potter and like witches and wizards and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's true too.
So that along with Wit animating Witch Hat, which is just going to be insane, especially if it's
Yeah,
anything like Ranking of Kings, it's going to be a blockbuster. I can't wait.
I'm excited for that. Do we have a season for that yet?
It's confirmed, but we don't know when it's coming out. I would guess we're probably getting Frieren and Witch Hat next year.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Probably like late next year, maybe winter
Since
2024.
it's already been announced, that's why I'm feeling like it's sooner rather than later.
That's true.
That's kind of like my line of thinking.
Guess we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled, and if we get any updates on that, Manga Melee will be the first to let you guys know. So we'll keep an eye out. And then finally, we got our darling Rakugo manga Akane Banashi by Takamasa Mue and Yuki Tsunaga. Has 300,000 copies in circulation for volumes 1 through 3. I'm so happy for it, honestly. Whenever you like doing this well, whenever it gets an anime, it is going to explode. Especially because, like I said, having a main character that people can like and isn't just like a conduit for, you know, plot to happen at is always a plus. We saw that with like My Dress Up
I was going to use
Darling.
that example. Yep.
We saw it with Licorice Recoil. It goes a long way, and I think Akane Banashi has that same star power to it if it gets given a chance to do
Yeah,
so.
I will say, don't take this the wrong way, but hopefully you get where I come from. What if we had Marin in like that character in like Akane Banashi?
It's the passion is
Yeah,
what you mean, not necessarily the sexualization or
yes, yeah,
whatever.
100%. Or it's just like she's the type of character to elevate a show, like Marin did for Dress Up Darling, like Chisato did for Licorice Recoil. That's who Akane is, and I see big things when the actual. I mean, it's probably 2+ years away from an anime, but still, it's when it drops, it's going to be great.
And I'm gonna call it now. If that anime is done right and respectfully, it will have some of the greatest voice acting of all time in it. Just because it's based off of Rakugo
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be good at that sort of thing. And
That'd
I
be
mean some
cool.
of
I wonder if they like. I never really like looked at it, but like, I wonder if they ever like got Rakugo actors for anime.
I could actually see that happening for Akane Banashi because they do have like they have a Rakugo like what's the word I'm looking for? They have an expert who works with them to make sure everything is accurate,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So I could honestly see them even like looking for because a big part of Akane Banashi is them looking for the next generation of Rakugo talent. I could see them reaching out to young Rakugo performers and asking them to perform in it, similar to how a lot of like Tokyo Mew Mew new. All of those girls were new voice actors, as far as I'm aware, or at least somewhat new. And then like Chainsaw Man, some of these like people only have like two voice acting roles on their entire plate,
Yep.
you know. So I'm excited to see it. Once it gets adapted, me and Pete are calling it here. It is going to be excellent.
Uh, Makima's voice actress is this is her first ever role.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, yeah, and I know Jolene's voice actor is she's done a bit of stuff, but like, sorry, I said Jolene, Power's voice actor, who also does Jolene in JoJo's. She's done a bit of stuff, but this is like Jolene was her first breakout, like super breakout role, as far as I'm aware.
She
Uh,
was in How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift. She was the Sakura, the tan girl.
Hell yeah.
oh, huh.
Onegai muscle, baby.
That's awesome, actually. You know what? We can segue that into talking a little about the seasonals that are coming out. So, we're going to talk about some of the ones that our friends over at Anime Talk maybe aren't going to watch. But hey, if you guys are listening to this, maybe give them a peep. You don't have to discuss them, but there's some good stuff coming out here that's outside of your normal wheelhouse. I think the first one we all want to talk about is sleeper hit of the season from episode 1 for a lot of us. DIY, do it yourself.
Yo, sleeper hit for you. I called peak before the first episode even dropped, and boy was
Yeah, but
I
you were
right.
you were memeing a little bit at first. Let's be honest, because you were like, it's gonna you had that fear of let's make a mug in the back of your head.
There's so many little people will understand that reference of I'm a huge slice of life guy. I love when just girls or anybody just do things and make it fun. And with the success of Laid Back Camp, Super Cub, when we got Let's Make a Mug, I was like, oh, cool, arts and crafts. And it was just like a sob story about losing your mom. I'm like, that's not what I signed up for. Do It Yourself, on the other hand, is like a slice of life arts and crafts slash power tool show set in like 2040. And I didn't see
Yeah,
that like little future aspect coming into it. So I'm really
near
intrigued to
future.
see what they're going to do because I see them starting off. You see in episode 1 where the main character wants to like build a bench. I'm looking forward to see if that progresses into something a little more, I don't know, maybe a drone or something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We were kind of talking about it in the what do you say anime Discord a little bit. We were me and a couple others about how it can differentiate itself from like because they say this isn't a carpentry class, which I assume is their equivalent of a shop class. They say this is a do-it-yourself DIY class, and I really liked the scene with them explaining like DIY and everything. It was some fun voice acting. Um, and I honestly, somebody said that shout out Jeep Dave in the Discord. So he said that he could see them doing like a full home renovation at the end for like an elderly or sick person. And
Ooh.
that would be really sick. Just some like even if they did like some extreme makeover home edition type shit, more or less, that would be awesome. This
Galaxy.
is
Oh, sorry.
no, actually, go ahead. I'm talking. I've been talking the whole time.
The show's gas. It's it it legitimately has the potential to be one of my favorite anime of all time. I
Oh my
fell in
god.
love with that first episode.
That's high praise.
The character
Give me
designs are
cute
insanely
animals
strong.
and cute girls that are just adorable as characters, and I'll love a show, usually.
Yeah.
We still haven't been introduced to the girl with the best name, Juliet Queen Elizabeth VIII. Waiting for her to make her
Miles' favorite
arrival.
character.
Yeah. I like that
Is
they label her as Jobco, but her entire name is Juliet Queen Elizabeth VIII.
is that the one with like the mouth
She has like a
guard?
hair thing in front of her face.
Yeah,
She
she
has
has like she covers. Is that the one that
no,
covers her
she hasn't been
mouth?
introduced yet, and you haven't seen her in the anime yet.
Oh, okay, because I only saw that one in like the. Oh, okay. I
If you
guess they did have
see
like the whole
the
montage.
promotional art, she has like blonde. She has blonde hair. She's a girl with blonde hair.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll take a look at some point. But I'm really enjoying the character designs a lot for this. They remind me a bit of like the overall character and environmental design reminds me a bit of Isaacin in some ways, with how
100%.
stylized it is, as well as like the passionate club that needs to find members and funding desperately angle that they have going.
It's just
This is
it's a
something
whole
that
lot of
people need
fun.
to it's it's a shame that it's coming out in this season because it's going to be slept on by a lot of people who are just watching like Mob and Chainsaw Man and Bleach or whatever when it deserves to be watched by a lot of people. This was like it's like 12th or something on the Mal rankings for the
Lower. It
season.
is
Low.
17.
That is so sad, dude. It deserves way better than that. It should be 10. This is my Daemon sleeper hit of the season, but for me personally, I think this is going to be better than Daemon. For me
Yeah,
personally,
I don't see I don't see any drama elements happening in this show. Um, we're like,
besides like the friendship thing, but it's not that. Like we
yeah,
see them hanging out in like the cutaway material and stuff, so I assume it's going to work out after she builds her
yeah,
bench.
the drama is like the friendship that they're like trying to rekindle, I think, kind of thing. But it's like I make this example with Laid Back Camp, where like the biggest drama element is trying to afford to go camping. Like
Yeah.
that's the stakes that we have in this show. It's so if you're just looking for I like watching these shows like before bed. It's like a really nice relaxer. I always like recommend slice of life to people who are like wanting to like chill out or something like that. Do it yourself after episode 1, banger. Absolute banger.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. I've been having a great time with it, and I will be watching it weekly as it comes out for sure. And if it keeps up with how it's going so far, I'm feeling a pretty glowing review, honestly, at the end of the season. So definitely be on the lookout for Do It Yourself. That's called DIY Do It Yourself. Up next, we got something that I feel like a few more people have been talking about. I mean, honestly, a lot of people for different reasons, depending on who you asked. Gundam Witch of Mercury is something we've all watched. I'm pretty sure and enjoyed it. Galaxy, have you watched Gundam Witch of Mercury, right?
Yes, I watched it yesterday.
Nice. What did you think?
I found the opening to be really cool since it's my first ever Gundam. It got me invested in the world.
I think it's a lot of people's first Gundam, honestly. Isn't it yours as well, Pete?
I've watched Wing and I've watched some Hathaway stuff. But
You're not like a Gundam
yeah,
stan or anything
it's like
like
I
that.
like Gundam, but I never go out of my way to watch Gundam. type of thing. I just don't, like, for as big of a nerd I am, I don't like space. Like I never like Star Wars and stuff like that. So usually when it's set in space, I'm not the biggest fan. However,
I feel like you'd really love Gundam if you like sat down and just watched a lot of it. I don't
I
know
feel
why.
like Iron Blooded Orphans, I think I would like more and stuff like just reading the premise of it. But this one, I've already watched the episode 3 times. Like I'm hooked. This is
You should
absolute
check out
gas.
the Build series, Build Fighters and Build
I
Divers.
saw
That
that
might
it
be
was its
more,
anniversary today.
yeah, because that's sort of like more in like a Gundam has a big stereotype of like your favorites are going to die in horrible ways and stuff. And Build Fighters and Build Divers is more of like a tournament sort of character drama based thing where they don't really die all that much compared to the other ones. I'm not sure if there's
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure there are still some deaths, but definitely not like in the Gundam War is Hell sort of
I
way,
was
if
gonna
that
say,
makes sense.
I am all familiar with my favorite people just dying. Have you ever read Berserk?
Never heard of it. Has anyone else heard of this little known gem known as Berserk?
I think I've heard of the character. His name's like Abdomen or something.
It's
But
just gut. It's just gut. Gut and Griff.
I've really been enjoying Gundam Witch of Mercury as well. The designs are super cool for the mecha. I'm always been a big fan of like guns floating off and then firing by themselves, like in Madoka Magica and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like, so this is right up there for me. Uh, the only thing I don't like a lot of the characters' hair. Weird nitpick, I know,
Ooh.
but I just don't like the hair designs
Ooh.
that
I
much.
love them.
I love them.
Love them.
Do you know who has the strongest design in the series? The guy who's like the leader of the Duels Club. The
Sadiq?
He has like his
Sadiq.
chest showing and stuff
He
like.
is insane. He looks like a Pokemon champion
He
or some
does.
shit like
He
that.
looks like teenage Gilgamesh from Fate is the vibe I got because he's just like
Yeah.
how he like sits too. Do you know like the power stance that people have like when they're sitting
Yeah,
down? Like
they're definitely trying to make him seem like super sick already,
yeah,
and it worked.
oh
They
100%.
congrats. Well, if he shows up, he's got a duel at some point for sure. And if he has a good Gundam, I am going to buy that kit instantaneously. So,
They
or I
gave
guess he
him a
won't have
sick voice actor too.
I guess he won't have a Gundam yet. He might get one later, but his mobile suit, if it's sick, I'll
Yeah,
grab it.
it's Saitama and Shirogane's voice actor.
Great
Oh,
voice actor.
dang. I didn't get that actually, but that's great.
I think that
So,
shows the range of him. That if you can't
yeah,
recognize him, like that's how good he is.
true. Oh, I've really been enjoying this. Some people on Twitter have been being weird about it, but we don't. Let's just pay them no
Fuck
mind.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if you have issues with like gayness and stuff like so-called wokeness, I'm using air quotes for our audio listeners here, and your Gundam, just realize that there have been a lot of gay sub themes in that since the very beginning, and it was almost solely carried by like yaoi fans at the start, not the Gunpla builders.
Yeah, the diehards like miss that entire aspect of it. Just if I don't see it, it doesn't exist, right, guys? Let's
Yeah,
gatekeep the shit out of this.
yep. It's super dumb. Thankfully, most of the big Gundam sites I've been seeing have been kind of responding to it and saying that it has no place in the community. And that's just good to see because I feel like so many times with a lot of anime and manga fandoms, especially, like we have a really bad like toxicity problem in a lot of ways, specifically like misogyny. So
Yeah,
whenever something like this that empowers women and has like a girl shipping aspect to it that's not done in like a fetishistic way, people can get kind of weird about it whether they realize it or not, and it's
couldn't
something
agree
that we got to
more.
deal with.
Yep.
Yeah, like I call it out, I try to call it out whenever I see it, but some people I guess just don't want to change their minds about that sort of thing, and all we can do is not give them a platform in the community.
Correct.
Yep. Well, to move on from that, Pete, what am I missing? We got a few things coming out soon. I know Bibliophile Princess is out tonight, I'm
Today,
pretty
yep.
sure.
Yep.
Today.
So Madhouse is back at it with a A romance. I think it's historical. Give me a
I'll take a
second.
look while you Google it, while you talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, Madhouse is my favorite studio. I usually watch anything that Madhouse does. They shoot like 90% from the 3-point line. Like, um, so yeah, looking to check this out. It's drama, romance, historical. So looking forward to watching that tonight. I don't have any impressions of it other than it's done by Madhouse. Looking forward to that. Some other bangers that I'm like looking forward to. I guess in terms of new shows.
So Bibliophile Princess is about like a princess who is super into books, more or less. And eventually she is set to get married off with this guy named Prince Christopher. And he's like, look, I don't really want to do this either. You like your free time. Be my fiance in name only, and you'll have all the free time you could want. And she's like, hell yeah, that sounds fucking dope. So they agree to it, and eventually he starts to fall in love with another woman, and she's like, wait, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm as cool with this as I thought I was. That becomes an issue for her, and that's where the plot kicks in.
Yeah, awesome. Another show I know me and Galaxy are both looking forward to. It airs on Saturday. Is Bocchi the Rock, which is a kind of looks like K-On!-esque, but Cloverworks is doing it, and I watched the PV, and its animation was like way too good
Oh, I'm
for.
excited for this too, actually.
Yeah, it looks really fun. The dynamic between the entire cast looks incredible. Galaxy, I don't know if you have anything you want to chime in on Bocchi the Rock.
It's cool that all the characters' names are from Asian Kung Fu generation.
Oh,
Oh, that's actually sick. I hope. Are they doing the soundtrack?
I don't believe so. It was just what I think Rifle in the Discord brought up once.
gotcha.
Huh.
Uh,
But
yeah,
cute girls doing cute things and they're playing instruments. What can be better?
nice.
So that comes out on October 9th.
And if you're looking for, I checked out the first episode of Raven of the Inner Palace. I was kind of hyped for this one based off of its visuals. It's set in China where there's like a new emperor. He overthrows like a tyrannical empress, I believe, and the Raven consort kind of has like this magical ability to like find items and people, and the emperor kind of like wants to use her, but she doesn't really feel like helping her, and it's kind of like a relationship story between an emperor and sort of like a witch, but she's the main character is super fun, and it was a really good first episode. I think it's a little slower if you're looking for some like more drama. I think this is going to be like a really good drama to watch. But it's pretty visually stunning. Yeah, so I would check out Raven of the Inner Palace as well. And then other than that, I mean, like everybody knows the big names, the sequels that are coming out. Spy Family Mob have been just absolute bangers. We won't get To Your Eternity until the end of the month. I'm looking forward to stuff like Blue Lock. And yeah, some of the other shows I think that are not as popular. But yeah, I mean, this season's absolutely stacked. If you wanted to start watching anime any season, like this is the one. This is just an incredible season.
Yeah, absolutely, completely stacked season at the
We
moment.
haven't even talked about one of the bigger shows and that nobody really watches except me in the Discord and My Hero.
Yeah,
That's also a huge show that the other shows are having to go against this season.
Yeah, I fell off that
Yeah.
bandwagon.
Yeah, me too.
I just think it's impressive that like if DIY and Pochi the Rock stand out when that's also a huge show.
No, for sure. I also think we're kind of in a circle where a lot of people aren't watching like stuff like My Hero, and we are gravitating towards like other different shows. And I think that's just important to show how great this medium is. If you can find absolute gems if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely agree with that as well. I think that a lot of people are also kind of leery on My Hero in a lot of ways after the last season.
Yep, 100%.
As well, I don't know. I don't want to spoil any anime onlys, but I think that this will be a solid season for My Hero overall, for sure. I'm just kind of worried about the next season, is where I'm at.
I think the first episode of this season started off strong. It showed Mirko being a badass, which she will continue to do in the later seasons.
Yeah. I mean, more Mirko is always good.
I also forgot about you guys saw the clip for Akiba Made War. It is
Yes.
so without giving any spoilers away, it's a combination of The Godfather, Zombieland Saga, and Kill Bill. It's intense, and this is like the shows that I gravitate towards of why I love anime is because this is the type of show that you can only do in anime, where you essentially have gang wars, but they're all maid workers or cafe maid workers. It's silly, it's over the top, but oh my, like I laughed my ass off in this episode. I thought the action was insane. The cold opening, the first minute and 20 seconds is just like it'll hook you immediately. Check it out if you have High Dive or if you're a fan of sailing boats. If you catch my drift, check that one out. It's called like Akiba Made War.
Yeah, definitely recommend that. The first 20 seconds are not what you would expect. So going with an open mind is basically what I got to say for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And up next, we got our weekly Shonen Jump rankings. So I'm just going to head over to jajonkin.net. And what we got here for this week is, all right, coming in for Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 44 at number 1. We've got One Piece at number 2. We've got Jujutsu Kaisen at, oh, sorry. I was reading, this is overall rankings for this year so far. For issue 44 at number 1 with the lead color page, we have Blue Box. Then we have at number 2, we have Sakamoto Days, followed by Jujutsu Kaisen with its 199th chapter. Then up next, we have My Hero Academia getting a color page for its 368th chapter. Sorry, my brain saw a big number and went monkey. Up next, we got Ginky and Gluta holding up well. New manga. I've been really enjoying this. We'll discuss it a little bit more in a second. With its 4th chapter coming in at number 5. At number 6, we got Akane Banashi with its 32nd chapter. Then followed by Witch Watch and Tokyo Demon Bride Story. Tokyo Demon Bride Story is actually one that I need to catch up on. I've heard decent things about it.
That was
And then
like
we
the
have,
one show to jump where if I was going to add a new show or a new manga, that was going to be it.
I'll give it a read and let you know if I think it's peak
Appreciate
core
that.
or not. At number 9, we have a one-shot with a color page with Nakura Yamizo. At number 10, we got Black Clover with its 339th chapter. At number 11, we got a color page for me and Robico, followed by The Elusive Samurai, then Mission Yozakura Family, followed by Undead Unluck and Mashal. At number 16, we have P6, and followed by Super Smartphone, and then a one-shot called Oshino-san wa Taishinobu. And then at number 19 and 20, respectively, we have Aliens Area and High School Family. So, honestly, pretty predictable. I'm happy to see Ginka and Gluna doing well. I think that this is another one that has some pretty decent chances. It's a little too early to call it at the moment, but it's always fun to see like a like an actual wizardry based thing going on. Black Clover kind of scratches that itch in some ways, but it's a little bit more physical with the magic in a lot of ways, if that makes sense. Whereas this is kind of like spell casting and stuff so far, but that could change as they get into more fights and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because so far most of the fights have just been like stomps, more or less, like them stomping people who underestimate them.
Gotcha.
What have you been thinking about Genka and Gluna Galaxy?
Uh, it's been a fun read. I find their character dynamic to be fun, especially when he gets blackout drunk.
Yeah, Snowman. He's like a dirty Frosty the Snowman. with indescribable power. Uh, I c- there's something about him where I feel like he's going to betray her at some point. Is the thing? Do you get that feeling, Galaxy? Spoiler, oh, slight spoilers, but it's just the way he acts sometimes. Like he's definitely a very selfish creature already.
Yeah, I never noticed it, but I can see where you're getting that from for sure. It seems like he could be a very selfish person later on.
It's like how he's talking about wanting to. Maybe I'm just like Jujutsu Kaisen pilled, but when he's talking about like wanting to get his body back and like absorbing the parts of his body he's missing, it's like, huh. Who else wanted to do that in a recent Shonen Jump manga? And it's like nobody who's good. That's who. I've been enjoying Genki and Gluna quite a bit, though. I would definitely recommend it. It's a very quick read. First chapter is like 50 something pages, and then it's just standard weekly 21, 23 page stuff after that.
Luna's
Other,
also a great character. She got
yeah,
excited over bread.
yeah.
Ooh, I'm a
She's kind
fan.
of like, Aerie and Witcher Mercury getting excited over tomatoes.
Same vibe.
Yeah, honestly. I would highly recommend Genki and Gluna, and I think that is a recommendation coming from our boy Galaxy as well. So y'all get on that. And Pete, I actually think you'd enjoy this as well.
I mean, if it's, I'm not the biggest Black Clover fan, but in terms of like,
It's not really like Black Clover. It's
okay,
just magical in
in
the
terms
same
of like
a similar
new
way.
age battle shonen, that's like definitely the one I like the most. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm a big fan of like wizards and shit. So, yeah.
Yep.
If you could tell by my love of Frieren, yeah, big fan.
We also had a really good chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. We're going to talk some slight spoilers about that, me and Galaxy. I don't think Pete cares all that much, so
I'll take
unless
my
you
headset
want to.
off. Wave your hands when you're done.
Okay, I will. So, we got the return of our two main protagonists in this chapter, in Yuji and Megumi coming back, which is always exciting. It had been over a year since we saw Yuji in the manga at that point.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Uh, and then we got some really big revelations in Jujutsu Kaisen with just the angel talking about how she wants to hunt down all of the resurrected players, in particular one who was known as the Fallen One. And then we get interrupted by Sukuna to let Yuji know that he is in fact the Fallen One. Dramatic music cue.
The fallen
So,
angel.
yeah. It's just a big thing because it's kind of reinforcing that idea that for a lot of the things that we want to happen in JJK to happen, Yuji has to fucking perish. And I don't want that to happen, but it might have to happen. And he's the type of character where he would be completely willing for that, you know, for that to be the case. He would sacrifice himself for the greater good.
For sure.
And then we also had Hana, the vessel for Angel, calling Megumi the chosen one and the blessed one, which is really interesting when you think about how he was able to summon a divine being with one of his top level summons. So I'm
It
wondering
goes
if
back
oh,
to when Gojo fully believes that if Fushiguro like tried and just became as strong as he should be, he'd be the strongest jujutsu sorcerer there is.
yeah, definitely agree with that. So
Great callback to that.
they're setting up some big, like right now they're kind of setting up our folks to be the next, like they already were the next generation, but they're really setting them up to be like that next generation with the Maki power up, introducing Hikari and his powers and stuff like that. I will say there's going to be a conflict between Angel and Hajime from who Hikari just fought, because Hajime is a resurrected player and he also wants to fight Sukuna. So maybe they kind of come to an agreement where they'll work on trying to kill Sukuna together, and then I think Hajime will probably be fine with dying after they do that, right?
It'll be interesting to see how Okotsu will take that news though,
Yeah,
since he's on the side of keep Yuji alive at all costs.
yeah, and I don't think because it's obviously to free our boy Gojo, and Gojo does not want that to happen either. Is the thing. So I don't think he would be very happy with it if he got out and knew that that's how it went down. Like I don't think he'd go like berserk or anything like that, but I mean he might go berserk on certain
That
people.
could be
Not
the
not like
point
not like his students or anything like that, but
where he would snap at
the
the
higher ups and
board,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
just straight up murder them.
Yeah, actually do the thing that he said he was going to do. So honestly, big setup in these chapters for Jujutsu Kaisen. Chapter 200 should be out soon. I'm super excited to read that myself, and I'm just happy that the boys are back in town. You know, I love Maki, but we had a lot of time with her, and it's good to be
Love
back
the shine
with
they gave her.
yeah, loved it. But it's good to be back with other characters and seeing them get some shine. Now all I need them to do is bring back the other characters who haven't been on screen for a while, like Inumaki or Toto, but it is what it is. They might not come back. We'll
Or
see.
possibly
Yeah,
Novara if
yeah.
she isn't dead.
I fully believe that she's not, but I can understand why people might start to think it at this point.
It was implied, but you never know. Maybe Gege's just
It
pulling
would
a
be
fast
bad
one.
writing. That's my thing. It would just be legitimately bad writing at that point, but maybe that's me
Yeah.
huffing mad copium. So yeah, great chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm gonna go ahead and let Pete back in now. All right. Sorry about that, Peter.
We back.
Yeah. Oh, and then this is just something that I've been reading personally, but maybe I can sell other people on it. Tokyo Revengers complete gas pack chapter this week. I won't go into deep spoilers or any spoilers at all really for it, but giving us a lot of perspective on many different characters. We're kind of in a flashback sequence right now, more or less. And it's adding a lot of depth to the characters retroactively, which on the one hand I would kind of wish that it was there to begin with, if that makes sense, but on the other hand I'm not going to complain about getting it. It's like a better late than never situation, I guess. Some people have some issues with how it's shown a certain character, but I personally don't really care about Takeyomi that much myself, so I don't care if he's a bad brother or not. Like basically there's a flashback where they're going on like a motorcycle ride, and Takeyomi is this guy who has like two siblings in the manga in the setting, and the person he brought on the back of his bike was Baji. Like he just left his siblings at home and took Baji on a bike ride, on a motorcycle ride instead, which is hilarious to me.
I love watching Tokyo Revengers fans from the sidelines. It's just like when a new chapter drops, it's like this chapter was ass. This chapter was ass. This chapter was ass. This chapter was gas. It's like it's always like a roll of the dice. Like what are we getting this week? So
Yeah,
it's really fun watching it. I'm anime only, but I'm
it's
assuming
kind
that
of like
they're adapted all. But yeah, it's fun
they
watching.
must. I mean, it sells like a
Oh
million
my god, it's
copies
insane.
every time it drops. Like, uh, it just prints money over and over again. And they have like spin-offs coming out. They have like at least two spin-offs for it now, as far as I'm aware. Probably more coming out.
Oh
So
yeah.
it'll definitely get adapted.
How about a Tokyo Revengers cookbook?
That would be sick. Like I said,
Yeah.
have them have like a do a future timeline where everybody's just chill and like still rich and just going to like luxurious restaurants and stuff like that on Mikey's
Yeah,
dime or
Mikey's like
something.
Anthony Bourdain or something like that. He just goes around the world and eats eloquent
This
cuisine.
is a slight spoiler, but in one of the timelines, they do just straight up say Mikey did open a restaurant in one of the timelines, so it could
Awesome,
happen.
awesome.
Uh,
Just
Give me,
becomes
give me
Soma.
that.
yeah, honestly, man, yeah. Put Shugeki no Mikey, like how they did Shugeki no Sanji.
Oh my
Wait, they
god.
both
I'd be down for it.
blonde potential cooks that are kick-based fighters. Original character do not steal.
Wow. Jay, you either are on something or onto something.
Hey, shout out Minnesota Sports Radio. What have you been reading anything lately, Pete?
Ooh, great transition, Jay. Let me go over what I have been reading and what I am planning on reading. Of course, I am reading everyone's favorite girl, Comey. Got Comey Can't Communicate 19 and 20 recently, catching up on the physicals. I am
Right.
also reading Kaguya-sama Love is War. I am currently on volume 23. You can see my bookmarker right there. And I just picked these up. Still need to read them. I got volumes 8 and 9 of Blue Period. Really looking forward to seeing where the story goes from there. So that's kind of what I'm reading physically. Other than that, like on my phone and on the internet, caught up to Blue Box, which is it's Blue Box, Spy Family, which is just pure gas every week, and I think that's it. I still need to do my catch up on Oshinoko and Kono Oto Tamare. I usually like doing those in like 6 chapter bunches, so coming up on
Saw
that.
somebody shouting Kono Oto to Tamari out in the wild recently. I was like, "Yo, Pete's evangelizing worked."
Yes. Yes, read Kono
Because
Oto Tamare. It's incredible.
it was one of the things where people were saying that it gets confused for a shoujo a lot simply because I believe the author is female and it has like certain themes, and people are just like, "This can't be a shonen."
Yeah, it's very, especially the art style is very not shonen. I was actually
Yeah.
surprised that it is. I mean, I get why it's a shonen, but like, if you showed me this and said this is the shoujo, I'd be like, yeah, of course it is. Look at the art style; it looks exactly like a shoujo art style, but it's not. It's beautiful. Like when you have like a cast of like 8+ people, you don't really get the depth that you normally would want. Usually it's like the two mains or something like that, and then the other 6 get
Mhm.
their moments. This is like a squad, and they're just it's really fun seeing like 8 best friends doing stuff together, and it's something that I'm sure I've seen it in anime and manga before, but I think they do it the best, and I highly recommend either watching the anime or reading the manga.
I It has an anime
It has
actually.
2 seasons.
Where's that streaming on Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll.
I'll peep. I'll peep the first episode of the anime at least, and if I like that, I'll probably read it from there.
Awesome.
What about you, Galaxy? You been reading anything interesting for us?
Uh, other than it taking a month to read No Game No Life's 10th volume, not really. I've been more watching anime as of late.
Reading the Steelers scores and the sports pages. All right, I had to get
Definitely
it in
not
there.
doing that.
I had to get it in there.
Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, though.
I also picked up the first volume of Drifting Dragons from a store in New Jersey. Really been enjoying it. The art style, it reminds me a bit of like Ghibli in a lot of ways with how the clothing is designed and stuff like that. Like it's sort of similar to the how the soldiers are designed in Howl's Moving Castle, if that makes sense. The shading is also very Ghibli in my opinion because it has that classic storybook feel to it almost.
I mean, and
Uh,
they fly like they have like airships, right? So would it be
yeah.
Ghibli without some form of like flying machine?
The idea of it is basically they are an airship squad that hunt dragons, and it's like whaling in the sky, but fighting
Gotcha.
dragons with rifles and harpoons instead.
I feel like
And
that it has nothing against the actual story. I just think the name Drifting Dragons is bad for the style of story it is. Because when I think of maybe it's like a Western thing, but when I think of Drifting Dragons, I'm thinking Initial D on dragons, which would
that's
be
fair,
sick.
honestly. Let me see if that's yeah, I think it's airborne dragons in Japanese
Got it.
apparently, which is a little bit better. I don't know. Airborne doesn't like I guess they were going for like the alliteration because it has like the dra, but I understand what you mean as well. Sky Pirates and Pastrami. Oh, they have they kind of do the dungeon meshy thing with the or Delicious in Dungeon, sorry, thing with the titles where they're named after like the things they're going to make out of the dragons and stuff like that.
Ah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited to finish this volume and probably read through the rest of it. I know it has a Netflix anime, but I don't know if it's any good or not.
It's
So
CG, so take that for
yeah.
what it is. But
And then I also picked up this gigantic art book for those of you on audio. I picked up the Venture Bros making of art book called Go Team Venture. Tangentially related because it did start off as a comic, and they have the comics in here. It's pretty sick, actually, to just see the making of this. I love Venture Bros. I don't know if either you have watched it at all, but honestly, I think that it's something that your favorite adult animation probably owes a lot of itself to Venture Bros. It kind of was one of the first Western adult animations that was more a bit more serious with it, like with having like character arcs and kind of going for it instead of just being like gag humor and stuff like that. Not to disparage gag shows, like they're important as well, but Venture Bros was one of the first one doing like the pseudo BoJack Horseman type deal, if that makes sense.
gotcha. I remember seeing it on like Cartoon Network and stuff when I was a kid. But I never really got into like Cartoon Network like in general or like Toonami in general. So it's just something that I missed.
I would recommend it, honestly. It's got a lot of seasons. It's pretty dope. It's all on HBO Max too.
Well, I got a lot on my palette, but maybe one day.
Yeah. And yeah, that just about does it for us, I think.
Do you want to do the Barnes and Noble?
Oh yeah.
All right,
Sorry, I completely
cool,
forgot about that. So
cool.
Pete actually brought us something. Tell us about it, Pete.
Yeah, so one thing about tracking manga sales, especially in the United States, is we have really poor metrics on how it's reported. We get like a thing every year that like will tell us, but most of the time we have to base it off of like New York Times bestsellers or Barnes and Noble bestsellers and stuff like that to kind of see what people are buying. So this is just an update on currently what people are buying. It's a combination of things that were restocked that are selling more and just popular series. So Jay and Galaxy are going to it blind, so maybe you'll get some surprises because I was surprised as well. So let's get into it. The first one, no surprise, it's Spy Family. Volume 3 was number 1, followed by My Hero Volume 32. And then Spy Family Volume 1 was 3. And this is our first kind of, for me, it was a huge shock. The number 4 bestseller on Barnes & Noble is A Sentence of a Bookworm,
Oh,
which I like the anime. I just didn't think it was popular. And I'm going to be honest with you, didn't even know it had a manga.
I thought it was like a light novel or something
I
like
thought
that,
was too,
honestly.
yeah. But A Sense of a Bookworm, Part 4, Volume 9, the number 4 bestseller according to Barnes & Noble.
Hmm.
Number 5, another surprise, but I saw this ad Barnes & Noble, and it's stunning. The art is stunning, and that's Heaven's Official Blessing.
Heaven's Official Blessing is
The
fantastic.
Chinese anime. It's been adapted into a manga. Or sorry, this is the light novel that is at number 5. So this is probably the highest selling. Yep.
I believe is it what did they call it actually? Let me look it up.
So
Sorry,
I
go
know
ahead.
it does for a fact have a manga as well, but in this case, this is the light novel that's at number 5. And then we're all start seeing this series pop up a lot because it got a huge restock and it's been selling off it's been falling off the shelves, and that's Kami-sama Kiss. Volume 25 is at 6, followed by Chainsaw Man Volume 1 at 7.
Those are all getting reprinted, by the way.
Yeah.
The Kami-sama Kiss.
I think it already was reprinted, and that's why we see them at this this level.
Yeah.
Kami-sama Kiss Volume 22 at 8, Spy Family at 9, and then from 10 to 20, we have 7 volumes of Kami-sama Kiss.
Jesus.
So when it got reprinted, everybody just went out and bought it. The other ones that were
Yeah, I
in
don't buy 'em.
between, sorry, 6 volumes of Kami-sama Kiss. And what we got in between was another Spy Family, a Vagabond Big Boy, the omnibus, another Chainsaw Man, and then the Summertime Rendering box set.
Ooh, I might want to pick that box set up actually. That sounds nice.
Yeah, so
I've
that's
never,
kind of
never really been a box set guy, but
yeah, that's kind of like what's on the radar right now for what's selling at Barnes and Noble. So a lot of Spy Family, a lot of Chainsaw Man, but more importantly, a lot of Kami-sama Kiss. We had 9 of the top 20 were Kami-sama Kiss.
honestly, I'm a bit biased. I'm shocked there wasn't a single Jujutsu Kaisen volume on there because Barnes and Noble Actually, you know what? I shop at BAM, not Barnes and Noble nowadays. I just remembered that. But I know BAM at least has a ton of Jujutsu Kaisen merch and stuff like that. Like they have
Ah,
like plushies and whatnot. You can see them on camera over there. I
yep.
got those from Books a Million. So yeah, honestly, a little bit surprised that they didn't have more of the battle shonen stuff on there. I guess people were really like a lot of shoujo fans or shoujosei fans are definitely gonna hop on the Kami-sama Kiss train because that's one that's been people have been waiting to get reprinted
Long
forever,
time.
forever.
Yeah. And they
Shout
took
out Mako, she needs to get on that.
took full advantage of it because like when you see stuff like this, it's like a really good sign that hey, maybe you should reprint Red River. Hey, maybe you should reprint like Barasa. Hey, maybe you should reprint like all these other titles that are selling like hotcakes over here. You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I could
So I
buy
don't have
them.
to pay $1,000 for 4 volumes of it or something
Yeah,
stupid like that.
fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
that did surprise me quite a bit actually. I'm glad I went into it blind. I should hop on the Kami-sama Kiss train at some point, honestly. I've heard good stuff about it.
Me too.
Would you compare it to Fruits Basket at all?
I haven't watched Kami or read it yet, which is shocking coming from
That
me.
does shock
I
me actually.
know. I watched episode 1 and then it was fine. I just never got back into it for some reason. So
Maybe it's like Spice and Wolf without all the economics.
yeah, I believe there's 0 economics in Kami-sama Kiss.
How am I supposed to jack off to the... No, I'm kidding.
Oh, this balance sheet. Supply and demand. Oh, what?
Yeah. See, that's more of like a light novel adaptation thing, introducing supply and demand
Yeah.
to a place. But I think unless you guys have something else that you want to talk about, I think that about wraps it up for us.
Yeah. I think so
Yeah.
too. Gotta do a plug.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to check out me, Jay, and Galaxy sometimes, check out the What You Say Anime podcast for more anime related content. We are all contributing factors on that podcast. So check us out there.
Galaxy, you got anything you want to plug?
Not really. Don't watch Orimo. That's about all I'll say.
That's fair, honestly. And
Watch
as
Fruits Basket, masterpiece.
true. And as for me, if you want to follow me, you can follow the podcast at Manga Melee Pod, all one word, on Twitter. You can find us wherever podcasts are found, as well as we have a link tree over there for all your podcasting needs. And if you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Shardbased on Twitter. Actually, on all platforms, but I really only use Twitter thinking about it. And that's at Shard as in a shard of glass, and at Based as in Lil B, the Based God. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining us for this week's Manga Melee podcast. Sorry that we didn't have one out in a timely manner. I've been going to a lot of weddings, weirdly enough. People have just been feeling the need. They've just been really wanting me to hang out over at weddings. So, I don't know. But I appreciate it because, you know, fun and games and open bars. It's all great.
Yes.
Join us again in the next couple weeks. Hopefully we have Lynn and Parfon next time. Maybe you'll see Peter there too. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, see you in 2 weeks, and that's all for us. Peace.
See you.